Welcome to our video presentation of Study Skills That Work. The valuable information provided in this presentation is based on the well-respected ebook Study Skills for Success, written by the certified teachers at Omega Learning Center. To find a tutoring center near you, visit omegalearning.com. In this video presentation, we are reviewing the different types of learning styles and learning strategies that accommodate specific learning styles. You will also receive validated tips for homework help, organization, note-taking, and test-taking. There are three primary learning styles: visual, auditory, and tactile. Visual. You learn best through seeing. You learn best by reading, watching a demonstration, and looking at graphics and illustrations. Auditory. You learn best through hearing. You learn best by hearing lectures, having information verbally repeated, and having information read to you. And tactile. You learn best through touch. You learn best by using your hands-on manipulatives, moving while learning, and experiencing the learning through action. Each child learns through all three learning styles. However, they typically have one predominant learning style through which they learn most efficiently. Once your child's primary learning style is determined, you may utilize specific tips for that style so that homework and studying can be completed more efficiently. Parents may receive less resistance from their child, and students may complete homework quicker, which builds confidence. To help you determine what type of learner you have, let's take a look at some characteristics of auditory learners. Auditory learners may hum or talk to themselves or others when bored, prefer learning material which can be listened to, acquires knowledge by reading aloud, often has difficulties following written directions, remembers by verbalizing lessons to them, feels that spoken expression is more effective than written, likes to tell others about books they read, has difficulty reading nonverbal words, may not always coordinate colors or clothes, but can explain why they are wearing what they are wearing and why, closes eyes to better understand spoken material, sits where they can hear but needn't pay attention to what is happening in front of them, may have difficulty reading maps or diagrams or handling conceptual assignments like mathematics. A visual learner tends to sit in the front of the class, likes to be able to see the information, is typically neat and clean, artistically talented in the visual arts, often closes their eyes to visualize or remember something, has difficulty following spoken directions, finds something to watch if they're bored, experiences misunderstanding or misinterpretation of spoken material, likes to see what they are learning, tends to be sensitive to sounds, benefits from illustrations and presentations that use color, often attracted to written or spoken language rich in imagery, takes numerous detailed notes, prefers visual learning material to be isolated from auditory and kinesthetic or tactile distraction. And a tactile learner typically needs to be active and take frequent breaks, enjoys field trips, projects, and tasks that involve manipulating material, speaks with their hands and with gestures, sits near the door or someplace else where they can easily get up and move around, remembers what was done but has difficulty recalling what was said or seen, are often uncomfortable in classrooms where they lack opportunities for hands-on experiences, finds reasons to tinker or move when bored, relies on what they can directly experience or perform, preference for hands-on learning, activities such as cooking, construction, engineering, and art help them perceive and learn, can assemble parts without reading directions. Here are some study tips for auditory learners. Recite out loud the information you want to remember several times. Read aloud when doing proofreading. Ask your teacher if you can submit some work as an oral presentation. Study in groups and call classmates to discuss lessons. Record your voice reading class notes and important points you have trouble remembering. Listen to lecture text tapes while driving, walking, and working out. When reading, talk through what you are seeing when you come to a picture. Sit in front of the class to minimize visual distractions. When reading multiple chapters, read chapter titles and subheadings aloud. When you encounter new words, sound them out loud. And here are some study tips for visual learners. Circle words and underline while reading. Compare your class notes to others. Watch videos on the subject matter when available. Make sure you can take any visual material away with you from class, tutoring, and study group sessions so you can go back and look at them. Draw illustrations out. Put information in a graphic organizer. Use a variety of colors, pens, pencils, markers, highlighters, paper. Draw a timeline or map of the events. Take detailed lecture notes. Create graphic organizers such as diagrams and concept maps that use visual symbols to represent ideas and information. Type your written notes from the class using different fonts, bold print, and underlining to make the most important concepts and facts visually apparent. Here are some tips for tactile learners. Try walking around while reading or studying. Take extensive written notes in class. Write everything down. Try holding an object in your hand while completing work or studying. Study in short blocks of time with frequent but short breaks. Draw charts or diagrams to help you understand relationships. Use a squeeze stress ball while studying. Use memory games or flashcards to memorize information. Make extensive use of a computer on the internet. Actively touching the keyboard will keep your mind active. Rather than just sit at your desk, occasionally walk back and forth with your textbook or notes as you read. To decrease your fidgeting as you study, listen to quiet music. The key to homework organization is keeping your students' backpacks and folders organized, as well as their at-home workspace. Your student's backpack is your direct line of communication with their school teacher and their school. Even if your teacher does not require one, create and maintain a communications folder. This encourages students to take a certain amount of responsibility. Parents are encouraged to check this folder daily, and family goals are communicated regularly with their teacher at school. It's best to create a school home zone, which is a specific place where your students can put important papers that parents will check daily. This can easily be a basket by the front door, a drawer in the kitchen, or a bulletin board. Parents need to check the school home zone daily, sign any needed paperwork, and then place back in the school home folder. It's best to maintain an agenda or school planner notebook where students have the responsibility of filling the planner out at school with all homework assignments. Parents take the responsibility of checking the planner at home to make sure all homework assignments are completed. One tip is to have their teacher initial the agenda at school and the parent initial it at home. Your goal is to create a habit of consistency and accountability. Take a moment to reflect on your current homework struggles. What is your child's current homework space like? Is it the same space every night? Consistency is key. Make sure they work in the same area each night during the same time of day. Make sure all necessary supplies are in the workspace. The less the student needs to get up, the better. I can't speak enough about communication. By creating a clear expectation at the beginning of the school year, you can avoid many school year struggles. Establish a clear and consistent path of communication between teacher and student and parent, parent and teacher. Some effective methods of communication are through the agenda or planner, email, and teacher blogs. For big projects, we always recommend verbal or written communication. With the challenging curriculum standards and school-wide benchmark testing requirements, learning efficient time management skills is vital for all students from kindergarten through graduation and even beyond. Organization is the key to time management. Students need to regularly review their agenda and planner, use a large calendar to write down all activities and due dates, and post this calendar at their home work area. To stay on top of the loop, parents need to keep a copy for themselves. We also recommend that your student get their homework done at the same time each day and have a set homework time. And while completing homework, turn everything off: cell phones, TV, iPads. Also, be sure to have necessary supplies in the designated work area, like snacks and drinks. So, how many times have you been asked to run to the store for a supply needed to complete your child's homework? Well, it's a great idea for parents to collect a variety of possible school supplies at the beginning of the year and simply keep them in your home for future use. Ideas for supplies are lined note cards, colored pens, pencils, highlighters, markers, push pins, 5 to 10 poster boards with a few in color, college ruled loose leaf paper, presentation folders, and composition notebooks. With your child, estimate how long each assignment will take before starting. Setting expectation is essential. Do the least favorite or hardest part of the assignment first. Plan ahead and review upcoming assignments on days with little homework. Budget time on a timeline for long assignments or projects. Have break times outlined from the start so you stay on track. And have break time boundaries set. For example, don't let your students start something if you have a break scheduled in 10 minutes that you know will take them 20 minutes to complete. Here are some note-taking tips. Before class, complete reading and or homework assignments from the previous night. Review notes taken from the day before class. Have sufficient materials ready to take notes, including pencils, notebook, textbook, laptop, etc. And if your student is taking notes on a laptop or tablet, be sure they save the file often throughout the note-taking session and back up their files electronically at the end of their session. During class, know the objective or the reason for taking the notes. Always listen for relevant keywords the teacher uses, like "don't forget" and "it's important to remember." Be sure to write down what the teacher writes down and make notes of questions you have and concepts that you don't understand. After class, rewrite notes in another way. This may enable your student to look at the concept from a different perspective, which solidifies the material and builds critical thinking skills. Also, actively review the material while rewriting them. Add information to make notes clearer. Highlight and underline very important information. Discuss confusing information with a friend, teacher, or parent to get clarification. And your student may find it beneficial to add new notes while completing homework. Before the test, use the following tips. Studying notes should be a daily part of homework. Don't wait till the last minute. Create a plan for studying notes every night with your schedule, what works best, and how much you need to study. When studying, encourage your child to speak and write and draw the concepts. Remember to incorporate your child's learning style when studying. Before a test, know when tests and quizzes are scheduled. Put together a study schedule based on test and quiz dates, taking into consideration other projects and assignments that you have on your plate. Know about the test and quiz, including content being covered, types of questions, whether it's multiple choice, fill in the blank, etc. So you really need to know exactly what type of test you're going to be taking. In addition, you may want to make a mock test for your child. that will help with their nerves and provide you with the opportunity to see what information they know and what information they need help learning. Be sure your child gets a good night's sleep and eats a good breakfast, and encourage your child to think positively. During a test, your student should be reminded to look at the whole test first to find out how many questions are being asked so they're not surprised at the end. Students need to read directions thoroughly and review what information is being covered on the test before starting. All of this will help them budget their time. Then they need to read each individual question carefully and look for clues to a correct answer within the questions. And if they're struggling for an answer, they should circle what they feel are important words in the questions. Students should also ask if you are confused or unsure of directions. Answer easy questions first. Mark answers neatly. Check their work and guess if they don't know. An attempt is better than not leaving an answer. Don't quit mid-test or give up. And students should only change answers when they are absolutely certain. Students can learn from their mistakes in a positive way. If a graded test is returned to you, parents and students are encouraged to review graded tests carefully, correct incorrect answers even though you're not required to, resolve to do better if the goal was not met, adjust study time as necessary for future tests. Be sure to let your student know how proud you are of them regardless of their grade, and again, stay positive so they can remain confident. Some students have difficulty overcoming test-taking anxiety. Test anxiety may be a learned behavior, and some causes include associating grades and personal growth, feeling of lack of control, fear of alienation from parents or family and friends due to poor grades, the fear of not finishing a time test. Here are some steps to take and some tips for students to help them alleviate test-taking anxiety. Develop a study plan as soon as possible. Make sure your student gets a good night's sleep, eats breakfast, and have a calm morning in the house. Be on time for school, think positively, review answers before turning in the test, and don't rush. As the co-founder of Omega Learning Center and a proud parent myself, I hope this video presentation has helped you and your student build the skills and confidence to achieve success in school this year. Omega Learning Centers hires certified teachers as tutors and provides the country's only nationally advanced ed accredited tutoring franchise system. If you're looking for a K-12 tutoring center for any school subject, visit omegalearning.com to find a center near you. Omega Learning Centers also provide free family seminars to help your student prepare for the state test as well as the SAT and ACT. Thank you for your time and have a fantastic day.